So most people use Redis for caching, right? But did you know that Redis can do so much more? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the pub/sub pattern, publish, subscribe, using Redis channels. So let's get started. So I have prepared these small projects here, one for publisher and one for subscriber. And it's basically an empty web API project, and I added a new background service. So in every project, like the publisher has a producer background service, and simply every 3 seconds we are printing something on the screen. Same thing for the subscriber. We have a consumer background service doing the same thing. And if we go to the terminal, we can run .NET Run for the subscriber, .NET Run for the publisher. As you can see, every 3 seconds is a subscriber, we are printing something, and in the publisher, we are printing something as well. Now let's start adding Redis configuration. So for that, I'm going to create a new project, a shared project that's being shared between the two different APIs, because we are going to use very similar implementation in both. So add a new project, it will be a class library. Let's call it shared. Let's delete this class here. And the first thing that we need to do is to install the NuGet package for Redis. So if you type stackexchange.redis, you'll find it here. You can install it in the shared project. And let's make sure to add the framework reference as well. Now let's add the first class, Redis service configuration. It's a static class. And here we are going to create an extension method so we can use it in our program.cs. Public static iHost application builder, add Redis configuration, and it's an extension method on top of the iHost builder. The first thing we need is to get the connection string from our configuration. So var connection string equal builder.configuration.get connection string. Let's call it Redis. And then let's register Redis configuration as singleton I connection multiplexer. And here we can specify connection multiplexer.connect, and we are going to pass the connection string. Make sure to return builder so we can use it as a builder pattern here. And now let's add a project reference for shared in both publisher and subscriber. And if you go to program.cs, we can now do something like builder.add Redis configuration. Let's do that in both the publisher and the subscriber project. Now we have configured Redis configuration. Let's start by changing the producer background service to actually create and publish a message to all the subscribers. So in pub/sub, a publisher can publish a message to all subscribers. It's like a broadcast. When you send a message, all the subscribers will receive it. Let's first inject the I connection multiplexer. Then let's create a subscriber, var subscriber equal connection multiplexer dot get subscriber. And here we can, every 3 seconds, we can publish a message. So to publish a message, you can say subscriber dot publish async. Make sure to await the publish async method. And if you notice here, we need a Redis channel and a message. For the Redis channel, it can be any string, but I like to keep my constant organized. So for that, I'm going to create a new class here, constants. It will be a static one. And inside of it, I'm going to create public const string. Let's call it Redis channel. Basically here you can have multiple channels and you can subscribe and publish to different channels inside your application. So go back to the producer background service, and here we can specify constants.redis channel, and let's send a message. Let's send hello world. If you are enjoying this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and consider joining my mailing list. It's in the description below. Now let's go to our consumer background service in the subscriber, and let's apply the same thing. First, inject the I connection multiplexer, and then similar to what we did in the publisher, we get the subscriber from the connection multiplexer. And now let me remove this code here, and let's await subscriber.subscribe async. And here you can specify the channel, and here where our constant class is helpful because we don't need to keep sharing the strings everywhere. So constant.redis channel, and in our handler, let's make it async channel message, and here we can log information message received message. Okay, make sure to add a connection string here. So connection strings, let's call it Redis, and the connection string will be localhost 1234 as a port. Gonna copy that and put it also in the subscriber like this. You can run Redis inside your Docker container. You can use Redis in the cloud using Azure Redis or any other provider. But for this video, I'm going to run Redis inside the Docker container. And to run Redis, you specify Docker run, detach the process, name of your instance, and the port. So I'm saying 1234, bind it to this port for Redis, and use the latest Redis image. Now we have our Docker image running. Let's go back to the terminal and let's run our subscriber and our publisher. So every 3 seconds, publisher will send a message and the consumer here, the subscriber, will receive it. So whatever we are sending here, we are receiving it here. Pretty cool. But we are sending a string. In the producer here, we are sending a message as string. Let's try to send an object. And to do that, I'm gonna first create a new class here. It's a record, and let's call it UserCreated. Let's say it's an event that we are publishing to all subscribers saying that, hey, we have a new user created. A user can have an ID and let's say a name. And now in our producer background service, let's change this one here to message, and let's create a new message equal JSON serializer dot serialize new user created. Let's add a new ID and the name is Muhammad. And our message, which is of type user created, we serialize it to a string and then we publish it to the subscriber here. Now make sure to go to your consumer and change the message here, the string message. Let's try to deserialize the message into the user created record that we have. So var user created equal JSON serializer dot deserialize user created is the type of the object. And let's specify message here. Let's make sure that message is not null. And here, new user created, and we can have user created here and specify it in the log. Now let's run again, run the subscriber and run the publisher. And you can see that every 3 seconds, we are sending a new user created event with different IDs depending on the creation of it. Okay, so we have seen how the pub/sub pattern is being used inside Redis channels. However, Redis channels are not always reliable. If your connection drops or the subscriber went dead, your messages will be lost. So for mission critical stuff, you may consider using a more reliable solution like Azure Service Bus or maybe RabbitMQ. And if you want to learn more how to configure your multi-tenant application using Azure App Configuration, check my video here.